The night was heavy. The air smelled of smoke and burning metal. The battlefield was silent now, but the silence was not peace. It was the silence after screams. After death, after fire had eaten everything. A human soldier walked slowly through the ruins, his boots pressing on broken stones. Broken weapons and ashes, his armor was scratched. His gun was heavy in his hand. His face was tired, but his eyes were sharp. He was trained to survive, trained to trust nothing. All around him the city was destroyed. Towers had fallen. Strange machines burned with green fire. The war between humans and the alien race had ended here, but no one had really won. The ground was full of bodies, both human and alien. The air carried whispers like ghosts of the dead. The soldier stopped. He heard something. It was not a machine. It was not an enemy step. It was softer, like a weak cry, like a broken voice calling from the shadows. His heart beat faster. His hand tightened on the gun. In war, a weak sound could still mean a hidden trap. He moved carefully, every step slow, every sense awake. His training told him to ignore strange cries, to focus on survival. But something deep in his chest told him to follow. The sound grew stronger. It was not one voice, it was many. It was the sound of hunger. The sound of small stomachs crying for food. From behind a fallen wall she appeared, an alien woman, her skin pale and glowing faintly under the broken moonlight, her eyes deep and shining with pain. She was not tall. She was not strong. Her clothes were torn, her arms thin. But in her arms were two small children, their faces hollow, their lips dry, their eyes too weak to even cry. The soldier raised his gun fast, ready to fire. His finger tense on the trigger, his mind screaming, "Enemy! Kill before they kill you," but she did not attack. She did not raise a weapon. She fell on her knees in the dirt, dust rising around her, her head bent low, her voice shaking as she spoke in broken human words. "My children have not eaten. For days," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Feed them, and I will be yours. Forever." The soldier froze, the words cut into him deeper than any blade. He had expected an ambush, he had expected hatred, but not this. Not a mother begging for food. Not an enemy offering herself for the life of her children. The children reached their tiny hands out. Not for weapons, not for defense, only for food. Their small bodies trembling. Their voices weak, their stomachs empty. The soldier's mind raced. Was this a trick? Was she trying to trap him with pity? Was this a test from his commanders to see if he would break? But then he remembered his own past. His childhood on Earth. The years when famine came. When his own mother had begged strangers for bread. When his little sister had cried from hunger. His throat tightened. His hands shook slightly on the gun. The war had taught him to see enemies. But right now he did not see enemies. He saw only a mother and her children, desperate and broken. The alien mother lifted her head, her eyes locked on his, glowing with tears. Not anger, not hatred, only pain. "Please, feed them," she begged again. "I will be yours, my life, my soul, everything. Just save them." The soldier took a slow step closer, his boots sinking into the ash, his gun still raised. But his eyes softer now, he saw the truth. The children's ribs showing under their skin. Their lips cracked, their hands shaking. They could not fake this. No one could fake such hunger. He reached for the small ration pack at his belt. His last food for the night, his survival. The thing he had saved for himself. He hesitated. Because in war, one meal could mean life or death. One pack could decide who would see the next day. But the memory of his mother's face returned, her tired eyes. Her whisper when she had said, "If someone helps us, I will never forget them." The soldier slowly lowered his gun. He opened the ration pack. The smell of food filled the air, and the alien children's eyes widened, shining not with power but with hope. He placed the food gently on the ground, not too close, ready in case this was still a trap. But the mother crawled forward, her hands shaking, her head still bowed. She pushed the food to her children first, not eating herself, only watching them with relief as they ate. The children devoured the meal, their tiny hands moving fast, their small mouths chewing with hunger, their weak bodies suddenly alive again. The soldier watched, silent, his chest heavy, something inside him changing. The alien mother lifted her head once more, her voice stronger now but still shaking. "You saved them. Now I am yours forever." The soldier felt cold run through his spine. He had given food, yes, but what did she mean by forever? What bond had he just created? What promise had he just accepted without knowing? The night wind blew harder, carrying ash and whispers across the battlefield. The soldier stood there, his heart torn between fear and pity, between duty and mercy. He knew one thing for sure. His life had just changed. and he did not know if it was salvation or a curse. And as the alien mother's glowing eyes stared into his, he realized this was only the beginning. The battlefield was quiet. Only the sound of wind moving broken dust and ash. The soldier stood frozen, his gun lowered, his breath heavy. The alien mother's words still echoed in his ears. "Feed them, and I will be yours forever." He had fed them. He had given away his last ration pack, and now her eyes looked at him. Not like an enemy, but like a servant to a promise, a bond that he did not understand. The human soldier's name was Daniel. He had fought many battles, he had seen men fall. He had killed enemies without a second thought. But this moment was different. This moment was a wound in his heart, because in the alien mother's weak voice, he had heard the same pain he once carried as a child. Daniel remembered the long winters on Earth when hunger had eaten him from inside, when his little sister had coughed through nights without food, when his mother had begged strangers with shaking hands. He remembered the shame, the cold, the fear of not waking up tomorrow now in front of him. He saw the same pain, but on alien faces, on children who should have been his enemies, on a mother who should have been a threat, but she was not. She was only a parent begging for life. Daniel's training screamed at him. They are not your family. They are not your people. They are the enemy. The war is not finished. Do not trust them. But his heart whispered, they are starving. They are weak. They are alive because of you. And they will die if you leave them. He felt the weight of the choice crushing him. If his squad found out he had shared rations with the enemy, he would be branded a traitor. He would be executed without trial. The army did not forgive weakness. The army did not allow mercy, but could he walk away? Could he leave the mother and her children to starve in the ruins? Could he pretend he never saw their hollow faces, their weak hands reaching for food? The alien mother lifted her head again, her eyes glowing faintly in the broken moonlight. She whispered, "You saved them. The bond is made. Your soul is tied to ours now, forever." Daniel felt a shiver run down his spine. What bond? What forever? He had only given food, nothing more, but her voice carried certainty. Like an ancient law had been written in her words. The children were calmer now. Their small stomachs filled for the first time in days. One of them, the smaller one, crawled to Daniel's side, looking up at him with eyes too large for his face, eyes filled with both fear and gratitude. The child touched his boot softly as if marking him, claiming him. Daniel's chest tightened, his hands trembled. He wanted to push the feeling away, but something inside whispered that this was bigger than hunger, bigger than war. He sat down slowly on the cold stone, his gun resting against his knee, his eyes locked on the mother. "Why did you say forever? What does that mean?" he asked, his voice low but sharp. The alien mother closed her eyes, her lips trembling as she answered, "My people, we are bound by oath when one saves our bloodline. When one saves our children, a bond is created. We cannot break it, we cannot deny it. You are our protector now. Until death." Daniel's throat went dry. Protector until death. Those words sounded like chains, like a curse, but in her voice they were not chains. They were truth. He wanted to argue, to deny it, to say he did not want such a bond. But the children were watching him with trust, with belief, and he knew he could not simply walk away, not without breaking something deep inside himself. Still, the danger was real. His squad was not far. Patrols moved through these ruins every hour. If they saw him with enemy survivors, he would not have time to explain. They would shoot first, report later. He stood again, his eyes scanning the shadows, his voice sharp now. "Get up, follow me if they find you here." "We all die." The mother looked at him with shock, her body weak, her arms trembling as she held her children close. "You will help us?" she asked softly, hope breaking through her fear. Daniel did not answer directly. He only nodded once, cold and firm, but inside his heart screamed with conflict. He was not saving them because of war or orders or loyalty. He was saving them because he could not watch them die. He led them through broken walls, past burned machines, every step careful, every ear sharp for the sound of boots, or drones, or the hum of scanning lights. The alien mother stumbled, weak, her children heavy in her arms. Daniel finally reached out, taking one of the children into his own arms. The small body was light, too light, like bones wrapped in skin. It reminded him too much of his sister. The child looked at him and for the first time smiled weakly. Daniel felt a strange warmth rise in his chest, and for a moment he forgot the war, he forgot the orders, he forgot the word enemy. But deep inside he knew this choice was not small. This choice was not just one meal, not just one night. This choice would follow him forever. And as the moonlight touched the ruins, Daniel realized that the war outside might end, but the war inside him had just begun. The ruins stretched far, broken walls and twisted iron rising like skeletons of a dead city. Daniel walked carefully, his steps slow, his eyes sharp. The alien mother followed behind with her children, their small feet dragging, their weak breath shaking the silence. Daniel carried one of the children in his arms, the boy's head resting against his chest, light as a feather, too light for a child his age. Every small breath reminded Daniel that he had given life to them for one more day, but also tied himself to something far more dangerous than hunger. The alien mother walked close, her glowing eyes never leaving Daniel's back. She was silent, but her silence was not empty, it was heavy. It was full of meaning. Finally, when the shadows grew thicker, she spoke, her voice soft but certain. "The bond is made," she whispered. "You cannot break it now." "Not even if you wish," Daniel slowed. His heart uneasy, his mind racing, he turned slightly, his voice low and sharp. "I gave food, that is all, no bond, no promise. Nothing else." But the mother shook her head, her torn clothes brushing the ash as she walked, her eyes glowing stronger now. "Among my people, saving our children means more than saving a life. It means you carry their future in your hands. It means your soul and ours are tied. You are bound protector now." Daniel felt a chill run through his body. He had heard many strange alien customs during the war, but this felt different. This did not feel like superstition. It felt ancient, unshakable. The child in his arms shifted, his small hand clutching Daniel's chest plate, his eyes opening slowly, weak but bright. He whispered something in his own alien tongue, words Daniel could not understand, but the tone was clear. It was trust. Daniel's throat tightened. Trust was something he had not felt in a long time. Not from soldiers who only obeyed orders, not from commanders who only cared about winning, but from a child who should have feared him. The alien mother stopped walking, her voice firmer now. "You gave food, but more than food, you gave hope, you gave tomorrow. That cannot be undone." Daniel stared at her. Frustration burning inside, he wanted to deny it. He wanted to push away this strange weight, but deep inside he knew it was true. He had not just given food. He had chosen to stand against his training, his orders, his army, and that choice could not be erased. They found shelter in the broken shell of a building. Walls cracked but still standing. Moonlight slipping through the holes. Daniel set the child down on a piece of cloth. The mother pulled her children close, wrapping them in her arms. For a long moment, none of them spoke. The silence was heavy, broken only by the distant echo of machines searching through the ruins, drones humming in the night sky. Finally, Daniel sat against the wall, his gun resting beside him, his eyes still watching, always alert. "Tell me what this bond really means," he demanded. The mother nodded slowly, her voice soft but clear. "Long ago, before war, my people lived by oaths. We believed that saving bloodline was the highest act. When one saves children, the bond ties them forever. The protector cannot abandon. The family cannot betray. It is deeper than choice. It is law written in soul." Daniel shook his head, his hand running across his face. "That is your law, not mine. I am human. I follow my command, my army. Not ancient rules of a dying race," but the mother only stared, her glowing eyes piercing the darkness. "Your command will abandon you. Your army will forget you, but this bond will not. You will see." Her words pressed on Daniel's chest like a heavy stone. He wanted to argue, but his voice failed, because a part of him already knew his army did not care. His commanders would sacrifice him if it served their strategy. The child he had carried looked at him again, eyes shining faintly. The boy whispered something, and the mother translated, "He says you are light in dark. He says he is not afraid while you are here." Daniel felt a strange warmth fill him. It was not pride, it was not comfort, it was something deeper, like invisible threads pulling his soul, tying him to theirs. The night stretched on, shadows moving across the ruins. Daniel stayed awake, guarding them, his finger brushing the trigger of his gun every time a distant sound echoed. He should have felt anger for being trapped in this role, but instead he felt something he had forgotten. Purpose. When dawn finally touched the horizon with pale light, the mother whispered again, her voice trembling but strong. "You chose us, Daniel of Earth, now we are bound. You cannot walk away even if you try. The bond will follow you." Daniel looked at her, his jaw tight, his eyes hard. But deep inside, a truth was burning. He knew she was right. He knew that walking away was no longer possible, not for his heart, not for his soul. And in that rising light, Daniel understood that the war had changed for him. It was no longer humans versus aliens. It was about the bond he carried now, a bond that could save him or destroy him forever. The morning light touched the ruins. Cold and pale, smoke still rose in the distance, machines of war broken and silent. But danger was never far. Danger in war always walked like a shadow. Daniel stood outside the broken building, his gun in hand, his eyes scanning the horizon. The alien mother and her children rested inside, their breathing softer now, not the painful gasps of hunger, but the slow rhythm of sleep. For a moment, Daniel allowed himself to breathe, to feel the strange warmth of saving lives. But peace in war never lasted. Footsteps echoed through the ruins, human voices carried on the wind. His squad was near. His chest tightened, his mind raced. If they found him here with aliens, with enemies, they would not ask questions. They would not care about starving children. They would only see betrayal. The voices grew closer. Laughter mixed with orders, boots striking stone. Daniel stepped back into the shelter, his face hard, his voice sharp but low. "Stay silent, stay hidden," he told the mother. She nodded quickly, pulling her children close. Her glowing eyes dimmed with fear. The children buried their faces in her arms, trying not to make a sound. Moments later, shadows stretched across the entrance. 3 soldiers appeared, their armor marked with dust, their rifles ready, their eyes scanning. One of them froze when he saw Daniel. "There you are," the soldier said, his voice rough. "We thought you were dead out here. What are you doing alone in this ruin?" Daniel's mouth was dry. His hand tightened on his weapon. He forced his voice steady. "Scouting, checking for survivors. The enemy left bodies everywhere." The soldier stepped closer, his eyes narrow. "And did you find anything?" he asked, his tone sharp, suspicious. Daniel shook his head. "Only death," he answered quickly, his body blocking the entrance, hiding the weak figures inside. The soldiers looked past him, eyes searching the shadows. Daniel felt his pulse thunder in his ears. If they stepped inside, if they saw, it would be over. Then a sound broke the silence, soft but deadly. A small cough, one of the alien children, weak and innocent, yet loud enough in the stillness. The soldiers froze, their guns raised instantly, suspicion turning to hostility. "What was that?" One of them snapped. Daniel's heart pounded. He moved fast, stepping forward, blocking their path. "Rats," he said firmly. "The ruins are full of them, sick and dying." Nothing more. But the soldiers did not lower their weapons, their eyes sharp, their fingers ready. One of them smirked coldly. "Then you won't mind if we take a look?" Daniel's hand gripped his gun. Sweat ran down his back. He knew if they stepped inside, they would shoot the mother and children without mercy, and then they would shoot him too. "Stay out," Daniel ordered, his voice low but like steel. The soldiers laughed, mocking. "What's wrong with you, Daniel? Since when do you give orders to us?" In that moment, Daniel's choice burned clear. He could step aside and let the squad kill the family, or he could stand in the way and be branded a traitor. There was no middle path left. The alien mother's words echoed in his mind. "The bond is made. You cannot break it now." His hand moved before thought. His gun raised, pointed at his own squad, his voice sharp, trembling but strong. "No one goes inside." The soldiers froze. Their laughter vanished, their eyes wide with shock. "Are you insane?" one shouted. "You're pointing your gun at us." "Your brothers," Daniel's heart hammered. His hands shook, but his eyes did not break. "I said no one goes inside." For a moment, the world seemed frozen, the ash in the air unmoving, the silence deafening. Then one soldier snarled, "He's protecting something, he's protecting them," his voice filled with hatred. "Traitor." The word cut like a knife. Traitor, the worst word in the army. A word that meant death. Guns lifted, fingers tightened. But before they could fire, something impossible happened. The ground shook faintly. A wave of energy spread from the shadows inside the ruin, light glowing softly, wrapping around Daniel like a shield. The bullets fired from the squad bent, twisting in the air, missing him completely. The soldiers froze, fear in their eyes. "What the hell is this?" one shouted. "He's cursed." Daniel himself felt shock, his body tingled with power. His wounds from earlier battles felt lighter. The alien mother stepped forward, her eyes glowing brighter, her voice calm but fierce. "The bond protects the protector," she whispered. Daniel realized then the bond was not only words. It was real, it was power. It was something that would change everything. The soldiers stumbled back, their fear stronger than their rage. They shouted threats, curses, but they did not shoot again. They fled into the ruins, their voices fading into the distance. Daniel stood frozen, his gun trembling in his hand. his breath uneven, his heart racing. He looked at the mother, at the children, at the faint glow that had saved him. He whispered to himself, voice shaking, "What have I done? What have I become?" The mother stepped closer, her voice soft. "Not what you have done, what you have chosen. You are protector now, and nothing can change it," Daniel knew then. There was no going back. His squad would report him. The army would hunt him. He was no longer one of them. He was something else now, something tied to this family, something the war had never prepared him for. And as the sun rose higher, the ruins burning golden, Daniel understood the conflict had only begun. A conflict not between armies, but inside his very soul. The sun climbed higher, light cutting through the broken towers. Shadows stretched long across the ruins. Daniel stood at the entrance of the shelter, his gun heavy in his hands. His heart heavier still, his squad was gone, but their words still burned in his ears. Traitor. Inside, the alien mother sat with her children, her glowing eyes fixed on Daniel, her voice quiet but unshaken. "You see now, the bond protects the protector. It is not myth, it is not story. It is truth." Daniel turned, his jaw tight, his voice low with anger and confusion. "That wasn't natural. Bullets don't bend in the air. Wounds don't heal overnight. What did you do to me? What is this bond really?" The mother's eyes softened, not with pity but with ancient weight. She spoke slowly, as if telling something sacred. "You think you chose us, but it was chosen long before. My people live by oaths old as stars. Whoever saves our bloodline carries our mark. Forever tied, forever changed." Daniel stepped closer, his fists clenched. "Changed how? Tell me everything." "No more riddles." The mother's hands trembled as she pulled the children close, but her voice was steady. "These are not only my children. They are last of the royal line, the blood of rulers, the heart of my people, hunted, betrayed, left to starve in ruins, but alive because of you." Daniel froze, the words striking like thunder. Royal line rulers, he had not saved just children. He had saved heirs to a throne. His voice cracked with disbelief. "Royal. Then that means," the mother nodded slowly, "it means you hold more than lives, you hold the future of worlds. If they die, my people die. If they live, hope lives. And you are the wall between them and death." Daniel staggered back, his chest tight, his thoughts spinning. He had thought he gave away food. Nothing more. He had thought it was mercy. But now it was destiny. His mind burned with conflict. "Do you realize what this means? If the army finds out, if the commanders learn, they will hunt me until I am dead. They will burn everything to stop this. I will not only be traitor, I will be enemy to my own kind." The mother's gaze was unbroken. "And yet you will still protect them. Because you already chose, because your soul cannot walk away. You are tied to them as they are tied to you." Daniel wanted to scream, to deny it, but the child's small hand touched his arm, light and gentle, and something inside him broke, not with weakness but with truth. He could not walk away. He would not walk away. He looked at the child, their faint glow stronger now, their eyes deep and strange. Daniel whispered, "What are they?" The mother lowered her head, her voice like a prayer. "They are not only children, they are keys. Their blood carries power older than war, power my people hid for generations, power that can build or destroy, and now it flows in you too." Daniel's breath caught, his hands shaking. He remembered the bullets bending, the wounds fading, the warmth in his chest when the child touched him. It was not his imagination. It was real, he whispered to himself. "I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this." The mother's voice cut through him, firm and quiet. "No one asks for destiny. It comes like storm, uninvited, unstoppable, but it still comes." The ruins around them groaned in the wind. Distant machines hummed again, patrols sweeping the broken city. Danger always near, but inside, Daniel felt something deeper than danger. He felt chains invisible but unbreakable. The children leaned against him, trusting him more than their own blood, their eyes calm. Daniel realized they did not see a soldier. They did not see human or enemy. They saw protector. The mother watched, her face tired but certain. "You saved them, Daniel of Earth, not by chance but by fate. Now you carry their future and through them. The future of all," Daniel's mind screamed. The weight of it crushing. He was no longer just a soldier, no longer just one man in war. He was something else now, something between two worlds. Outside, the sound of gunfire cracked the air, human troops clashing with surviving alien fighters. The war still alive in flames and blood, but Daniel knew his war was different now. He whispered to himself, his voice sharp but unsteady. If this is true, if they are royal blood, if I carry their future, then there is no going back. The mother stepped closer, her hand trembling as she touched his shoulder. There never was, she said softly. Daniel closed his eyes, the truth pressing deep. His life as soldier was gone. His path as protector had begun. And the revelation was clear. He was no longer fighting for Earth. He was fighting for something far greater. And as the children's faint glow wrapped around him like morning light, Daniel felt both fear and strength rise in his chest. A storm of destiny he could not escape. A storm he was now bound to face. The ruins no longer felt safe. The air was heavy with the sound of engines and marching boots. Daniel knew the army was coming, not as brothers, not as allies, but as hunters inside the broken shelter. The alien mother held her children close, their small bodies wrapped in her arms, her glowing eyes locked on Daniel. They will come for us, she whispered. And for you too. Daniel tightened his grip on the rifle, his jaw hard. I know, he answered, his voice sharp. They think I betrayed them. They will not stop until we are all dead. He had once believed his squad was family, soldiers who would fight beside him until the end. But now he saw the truth. Loyalty to command was stronger than loyalty to a friend. Mercy was weakness, and weakness was punished with death. The sound of boots grew louder, the clash of metal against stone. Voices shouting orders. Daniel's chest tightened. There was no time left. The children clung to him, their small hands gripping his armor, their faint glow stronger now as if they felt the danger too. Daniel looked at them, and for the first time, he realized they were not afraid. They trusted him completely. Then the soldiers came, filling the street outside, rifles raised, armor shining in the pale light. Their commander stepped forward, his face hard, his eyes burning with betrayal. Daniel, the commander shouted, his voice like iron. Step away from the enemy. Put down your weapon. Surrender. And maybe your death will be quick. Daniel stood tall, the rifle steady in his hands. His voice loud. They are not the enemy. They are children. They are innocent. The soldiers laughed bitterly, their guns never lowering. The commander sneered. You've lost your mind. You protect them instead of your own kind. You are no soldier. You are no brother. You are nothing but traitor. The word burned through Daniel again. Traitor. The same word that had chased him since the moment he gave food, but now it no longer felt like an insult. It felt like a brand he had chosen, a path he had accepted. The commander raised his hand, ready to give the order to fire. But before the shots could come, Daniel stepped forward, his rifle aimed, his voice filled with steel. If you want them, you go through me. The soldiers hesitated. Their eyes wide, they had fought beside him in battles. They had seen him save their lives. Now he stood against them, glowing faintly with the strange light of the bond. Then the order came. Fire. Bullets flew, the air screamed with metal. But again the bond awoke. Light wrapped around Daniel, bending the shots away, striking the ground, tearing through walls, but never touching him or the family behind him. The soldiers stumbled back in fear, shouting curses, some falling to their knees. He's not human, one screamed. He's cursed. Daniel felt the power rushing through him, his veins burning, his chest alive with strength. He fired back, not to kill but to hold the line, his shots cutting through the dust, forcing his former brothers into cover. The alien mother stepped out, her voice loud and sharp, her glowing eyes fierce. The bond is not curse. It is truth. He is protector. Chosen by fate, the soldiers shouted back. Lies, witchcraft, poison. But their fear was real, their unity broken. The commander's face twisted with rage. You will die for this, Daniel. No one betrays the army and lives. Daniel's chest heaved. Sweat ran down his face, but his eyes did not break. Then I will die standing, protecting them. The children's glow grew brighter, wrapping around Daniel, their small voices whispering words in their alien tongue. Power flowing stronger through his body. His wounds closing, his strength rising. The commander screamed, charging forward with blade in hand, faster than the rest. Daniel met him head on, the clash shaking the ground. Metal against metal, rage against mercy. The fight was brutal, each strike heavy, each breath burning. But the bond gave Daniel strength beyond his own. His arms steady, his body refusing to fall. Finally, with one desperate move, Daniel struck. The commander fell, his blade clattering against the stone, his eyes wide with shock, his chest heaving with hate. You are already dead. The army will never stop, he hissed. Before silence took him, the soldiers saw their leader fall. Fear stronger than orders now. Some fled into the ruins, others fired blindly. But none dared to face Daniel directly. The battlefield fell quiet again, smoke rising, dust heavy. Daniel dropped to his knees, his chest burning. His rifle slipping from his hand, he had survived, but at a cost. The alien mother rushed forward. Her children still glowing, she whispered. "You gave your freedom for us, you cannot go back now." Daniel looked at her, his eyes heavy with pain. "I know," he whispered. "I gave everything." He looked at the children, their glow warm, their eyes shining with trust, and he knew the truth. His sacrifice was not only his freedom, it was his place in the world. He was no longer soldier, no longer human in the eyes of his people, he was protector, bound forever. And as the last of the soldiers' voices faded into the ruins, Daniel felt the weight of his choice settle deep inside him. Betrayal by his own kind, sacrifice of his old life, but a new path waiting in the shadows of destiny. The battlefield was silent again, but silence was never peace. Silence in war was only the breath before the next storm. Daniel stood among the ruins, his chest heavy, his armor scratched and bloody, his rifle bent from the clash, smoke still curling in the air where soldiers had fallen or fled. Behind him, the alien mother held her children close, their faint glow warming the broken stone around them, their eyes never leaving him. Daniel knew what he had done. He had turned against his own people. He had killed his commander. He had chosen the bond over the army, and now there was no road back. The word traitor would follow him across the stars. But as he looked at the children, their small faces filled with trust, he realized another word now mattered more: protector. The alien mother stepped closer, her glowing eyes soft, her voice trembling but strong. "You gave everything, and we are yours forever. Not by chains, but by bond, by choice, by soul." Daniel's jaw tightened, his voice low. "The army will not stop. They will send more. They will hunt me, they will hunt you. No matter where we go." The mother nodded slowly. "Yes, they will come. But you will not stand alone." Daniel looked at her, confused, but before he could speak, the children stepped forward, their glow brighter than before. Their small hands raised, the air shifted, a hum filling the ruins, the broken stones trembling, light spilling from their bodies like rivers of gold, wrapping around Daniel, seeping into his skin. He gasped, his heart racing, his body alive with power, his wounds closing fully, his strength multiplying. It was not only protection now, it was transformation. The mother whispered, her eyes wide. "The bond is complete. They have given you part of their blood, part of their power. You are no longer only human. You are tied to their line, to their destiny." Daniel staggered, his hands glowing faintly, his breath heavy. "What have you done?" he asked, but deep inside, he already knew. He had become something between man and alien, something new. The children looked up at him, their voices soft but clear, speaking in their strange tongue. Words Daniel could not understand, yet somehow felt inside his chest. Words of trust, of family, of forever. The mother translated gently. "They say you are not protector only, you are father now. In bond, if not in blood." Daniel's throat tightened, his eyes burning. He had not expected this. He had not wanted this, yet as the small hands clutched his own, he felt a truth stronger than any order, stronger than any oath to an army. He whispered, his voice shaking. "Then I will not let them take you, no matter what it costs." The mother smiled faintly, her tears glowing like silver in the light. "And we will not let you stand alone." But beyond the ruins, engines roared again, louder this time. Not patrols, not squads, but full strike teams. The army was moving faster than Daniel expected. Their hunt relentless. Daniel lifted his rifle, his face hard. But the mother placed her hand on his arm, her voice steady. "You cannot fight them all here. Not yet. This war is bigger than this city, bigger than Earth. You must take the children away. Keep them safe, until the time is right." Daniel nodded slowly, his chest tight. He understood. This was not the end. This was the beginning. They moved quickly through the ruins, Daniel leading, the mother close behind, the children glowing softly in the dust, every step heavy with danger but also with destiny. The sound of soldiers grew closer, searchlights cutting across the sky, drones humming like vultures. Daniel pushed forward, his eyes sharp, his body alive with the bond's strength. At the edge of the city they paused, the horizon wide and broken. Stars faint in the pale light. Daniel turned back, looking once more at the battlefield that had changed his life forever. The mother stepped beside him, her voice calm but heavy. "From this day, you are not only Daniel of Earth. You are protector of royal blood, chosen of the bond, forever tied to us. Daniel's eyes narrowed, his voice low but steady. Then let the world call me traitor. Let the army hunt me. I know who I am now. I am protector, and I will fight for you until my last breath. The children held his hands, their glow wrapping around all of them, light against the darkness. And as they disappeared into the wild lands beyond the ruins, whispers spread among soldiers who had seen too much, whispers of a man who bullets could not kill, a man glowing with alien light, a man called Protector. But in the deep shadows beyond the horizon, far from the battlefield, other eyes watched, darker eyes, older than war, eyes that had felt the bond awaken, a voice whispered in the void. Cold and cruel. The bloodline lives, the bond is forged. Then so begins the greater war. Daniel did not know yet, but the storm ahead would make this battle look small. His choice had saved 2 children, but it had also awakened enemies across the stars, enemies who would come for him, for them, for the bond itself. And as he walked into the unknown, Daniel knew only one thing. There was no turning back. The bond was forever, and forever was just beginning.